I got a text message from Buju Banton this morning. I have TJ Kali on my product. I tell people, don't call me no healer because I don't make plants. When I go and I pick a plant, I have to say, hey, Lord, I hope that you didn't forget to put this active ingredient in this plant. And I know he don't forget. He's all knowing. There's no way he could forget. So how can I take the glory? No, it's not me. I'm listening. They are inspired by a higher power. God has anointing on that person. Dr. Sebi was such a person, and he chose me as somebody that he chose. What he didn't know was that I had to go through those pain. There was a guy who on his deathbed, he summons me, and he said, go on your knees. And he put his hand on my head, and he said, Lord, from a dying man, bless this young man, bless his work, bless his hands. And he died like an hour after that. But Dr. Sebi couldn't have known that. So I have come to the conclusion that what I'm involved in is bigger than me. I'm only a servant, because when people come to me and they follow their profile, client profile sheet, and they put I have hypertension, cancer, this, that, I scan it, and I say, oh, this person only have one disease. And so the major cause of all disease, the major cause is
Hey guys.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back to another episode of Soaking Up the Sun. We have an amazing guest today, Dr. Jamal Moncur.
Yes, and Jamaal is a renowned herbalist. He is a health coach, an author, and a naturopath with over 13 years of experience in holistic health. And in 2010, he co-founded New Life Natural Vegetation Self Food Limited in Nassau, Bahamas.
Awesome stuff. So Jamal, thank you.
Thanks for having me. I feel like, I don't know, I'm in the midst of greatness.
But we feel the same way.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So we've known you since we were kids.
Yeah. Yes. It's amazing.
We went to
We just reconnected. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
After, it's so funny because we were walking where your store is in Old Fort Bay, and we were walking by, and you said you noticed Santia, and you said you noticed like something about her complexion.
Yeah.
And we got
I
it.
remember this
You
story.
remember that? Yeah, he said he saw you. He
Yeah.
remembered us, but he noticed something about your complexion, like you had gone through some type of
something.
health issue, and we started talking,
Yeah.
and we went in for a health consultation, and that's how we got reconnected again.
Yeah. I saw Santia and I was like, you look familiar. But then what really struck me was she had about 3 or 4 sea moss in her hand.
Yes.
That's an anomaly. You don't see
Yeah.
someone at your age, like a youthful person, unless they're taking it for their grandparents. I was like, that's for you or that's for somebody you know? She said, no, it's for me. Like, the way she grabbed it and pulled it, like, it's so precious. Like, precious stone, you know? Like, it's inspiring.
It was.
I was like, hold on now.
Definitely was.
And then she started to, like, tell a story, and her eyes, like, she had this passionate eyes. I said, no, I need to hear the story. Like, let's talk about it. And that's when we reconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reconnection.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Everything's ordained. God
Yes.
he's just in the,
The
details.
details.
Yeah. My teacher, Dr. Sebi, he always used to say the reconnection. And I feel like this is the reconnection.
Yeah.
At that moment, that was reconnected.
Yeah. Awesome.
Now that you've mentioned Dr. Sebi, tell us a little bit about your history where it concerns
Yeah.
your relation to him.
So early 2000, I lost my aunt. She was a nurse in Fort Lauderdale. She developed cancer.
Sorry to hear that.
And she went in a coma. She never came out of the coma.
Wow.
And my father died from cancer. He was a teacher. And they cut his tongue by accident. They surgically removed his tongue by accident. Yeah, when he woke up, it's like, my tongue is gone. It's like, oh, you know. But anyway, he died.
Wait, what was the surgery for?
It was supposed to be something else, and they cut his tongue up. Yeah, when he woke up, you know, and he's a narrator, so he speaks, and he, you know, he's a teacher, so he sings and stuff. So, you know, that's
Communication.
your
That's
life.
his entire life.
Yeah. So anyway, so going through that, and basically he died, basically in my arms, basically, you know.
So sorry.
So I remember feeding him boiled fish juice through here, and shaving his head. He wrote on the paper like, "Just shave my hair, son, and I love you." He wasn't close, you know, because I met my father like probably a few months before he died. You know, yeah. So, but he's the reason why I'm here. You see, and so I was there, and I remember him saying, you know, I love you. You know, I wasn't there, but I love you. And he just said, he got a razor and the water, and he said, I shave my head. And I shaved his head, and that's the last memory of my father. So my uncle had throat cancer. He died in chemo, and my mom's best friend died from cancer, breast cancer. And I remember I went to a crusade of evangelists, and like they screened her, and she couldn't get to him, and she was devastated. My mom was devastated. And so I started asking questions. I would see a physician. I would say, hey, what is the cure for diabetes? What is the cure for hypertension? What is the cure for cancer? What is the cure for this? What is the cure for that? And I would not get nothing conclusive. It would always be, well, there's no cure for it. You have to live with it, manage. And it was always, and so in my mind, I was like, well, I don't want to get sick because everybody around me, and I've been cancer, and I'm getting older, and I was petrified at that moment. And I was like, hold on, fear is overtaking me. So how can I inoculate myself with information or with some type of panacea where I don't get sick? Like everybody around me. And I guess everybody around me is just getting sick. I say, how can I make myself healthy? That's what that came in my mind. And my father's side is Moncur's, Seventh-day Adventist, and so they always eat healthy. My sister ended up developing breast cancer. And so after I saw all of this happening, the doctors would be like, there's no cure for no disease. So I said, hold up now. But there's no cure for no disease. And somebody gave me a VHS, a tape, a DVD with Dr. Sebi. And when I watched, that was in 2008, 2009. When I watched the DVD, I would watch that until, well, if I backtrack a little, I had a brother that got murdered in 2004. And when he died, we were 1 year apart. And all my siblings, we had same mom, same dad. We were really close. Siblings, really close. And so when he died, like I became numb. I felt pain for the first time. Like I felt excruciating pain that I thought I would never be able to overcome this pain. And I remember like I couldn't watch television, but I had to be strong for my mom because she was devastated. So he died brutally. Like they found him in the back trunk of a car by COB. You know, wrapped up in garbage bag. And so I was like devastated from that. And I was just reading books. And when I read the book, like I had this burning in my gut. It was like a fire. And when I read a book, the burning would go. And so I would read African history. I would read health books. And I would read from morning to morning. I would read nonstop. And I remember hopping on a plane, going to New York, Bushwick Avenue, Brooklyn. And I emptied my bank account because I wasn't working at the time, just doing music. I'm also a musician too. And I bought like $300 worth of books. And I read straight through. When I stopped reading, the burning would come. I would have this uneasiness in my stomach. And the only thing that soothed is when I read a book. And I would read books 24 hours a day. And so when someone gave me this DVD with Dr. Sebi, when I watched the DVD, I realized I didn't have the burning no more. I was like, hold on, I don't have to read no more. So his voice and the way how he speaks and what he spoke, it resonated. And I said, hold up, I don't have to get sick.
Power.
Yeah, I don't have to get sick anymore. So
hope.
Yeah. Because I remember everybody around me was dying. And I was like, and I was like, this is it. And I would watch the DVD and I would watch him. And then one day I called his office in LA and I said, I need to talk to him. I want to bring him to the Bahamas. At that time, I was doing music for 100%. I didn't want to open no company because when we first bought Dr. Sebi, the flyer had No Life Productions. So I tell you I was into music. Post-production. If you go back in the archive and you go on Google, the first flyer, Dr. Sebi, No Life Production presents Dr. Sebi in 2009, 2010. So when I would call his office and they wouldn't give him the message. I wouldn't give up. I was relentless. Every day I would call. And it was like almost 3 months I would call. And then one day his daughter called me back and she was like, hey, I heard you call for my father. Sorry about that. I don't know why we didn't get the message, but he want to talk to you.
So they hadn't gotten the message.
3 months. And somehow she got it. The daughter got it.
And he like, I need to talk to you. He said, okay, what you want to do? I said, I want him to come to the Bahamas to do a seminar. And at the time, I was basically living by myself, and I got put out of my apartment because I couldn't pay the rent. And I was like in a desolate spot, and they said, okay, it's going to cost you $10,000. I remember that. I'm basically homeless.
I mean, that sounds like a lot of money now.
Yeah, exactly. But fate, I said, I remember that scripture. You have faith the size of a
mustard seed.
And seek ye first the
kingdom of God.
And so I remember I said, if it's God will to happen, it's going to happen. And so what I
Amen.
did was I didn't have a dime, and I put an ad in the paper. The man who cure AIDS and cancer and is coming to the Bahamas on the date. I agreed on the date.
Ooh,
I agreed to
about
put
faith.
I agreed to put the $5,000 down. Basically all my clothes in my car.
That's some faith right
Yeah.
there. Wow.
And they called me, they said you have to put $5,000 down. And they called me like maybe a week before the seminar. And they said, hey, Dr. Sebi got it mixed up. He thought he was in Haiti. He didn't say it in a derogatory way. He said like, hey, I always wanted to come to the Bahamas. I'm not going to charge you 10,000. I'm going to charge you 5.
Whoa.
But suppose I had said, I don't have the money. I don't wait.
Exactly.
I didn't worry about the money because I just had this strong feeling that. And then Jeff Lloyd called me and he's like, hey, I want exclusivity. When Sebi come, I want him on my show. At the time, he was the premier. He was the #1 show. And we sold mostly 15 tickets leading up to that point. When he came and he went on Jeff Lloyd's show, we had cars wrap around 2 corners with tickets. I had to literally throw my phone away because it would ring 24 hours a day.
Wow.
Ring nonstop. And my life changed that moment. And let me show you how life is. Because during that time, I got an invitation to go to Germany, Holland, Italy, and France on a tour, musical tour. And at this point, I was like, man, my career, everything I dream about as a musician, I'm about to go on a tour. I'm going to make a lot of money. And I'm going to share the story with you. As a matter of fact, all those stuff I just shared, I don't think I ever said that on any interview.
I definitely
They're
didn't
very
know.
deep, some deep stuff. But it's going to get deeper because this is the first time I'm revealing this to the public. Dr. Sebi came, we had over 5,000 people showed up. People flew in from UK, Bermuda. And my life was never the same after that because when it was time for question and answer, Dr. Sebi said, I need to take 20 questions. And you had 5,000 people in that building. And good thing we thought ahead of time, and we had an inspector, police inspector there. And he rushed us out the building. They stampeded, we rushed out the building. And when I was about to go inside the van, a woman about this tall, an old woman, she was 75, 80 years old. She give me a hand. She grabbed my hand like this. And when she grabbed my hand, my whole body paralyzed. I couldn't move.
Ooh.
She grabbed my hand and she said, this is your moment. This is your time. God has chosen you. Don't you abandon the people. Don't you dare abandon the people. Make the right decision. And I said, Sebi, look here, inspect. Look here. And when they look around, they said, what you talking about? There was no person. She was gone. And I never seen that woman after that. Whoa. But when she was frail, but when she touched me, it paralyzed me. I couldn't move. My whole body was paralyzed. Wow. I couldn't move a muscle. Wow. And I only remember being able to talk. And I screamed to the top of my voice. I said, look here. Because I was shocked that somebody in all that crowd of people, she found me through that crowd. She hold me. And so while he's driving with the police outriders, Dr. Sebi said, 37 years, I've never seen anything like this in the Bahamas. He said, there's something about this. He said, why did God choose Honduras and the Bahamas? And I said, I don't know. I said, but I remember Marcus Garvey made a statement at Government Yard in 1932. He said the Bahamas would be the last to know, but the first to act. And maybe this is a health revolution that's going to start in the Bahamas. It's going to be the epicenter, maybe. And he said, wow, he says, powerful. He said, I want you to represent me, not just in the Bahamas, but in the whole entire Caribbean. I want you to have publishing right. I want you to come Honduras. Let me train you. I want to take you to the mountains. He said, please let me know. Don't think about it. And when I went home, I saw a message from those guys in Germany. He said, we just bought your ticket to come to Germany on Monday, the following week. He said, we're looking forward to this. And I lay down in the bed and I started to cry. And I was like, man, I saw like people in wheelchair, like people sick. And I remember my plight with everyone dying around me. And I was sitting in the bed and I was like, man, what do I do? What do I decide? All my life I want to go tour and be a musician and have this fame. And then I remember that old woman hold my hand. And she said, make the right decision. This is your time. Don't abandon. God has chosen you. I remember that. And then like this epiphany came over me in my spirit. And it said to me, if you do a love song and you're on stage performing the song, but the woman who's listening to your song she have infertility, she can't enjoy your song. If the man have erectile dysfunction, he can't enjoy the song. If the woman or man have pain in their back, they can't dance to your music. And I was like, man, so why God put this in my spirit? Why?
That's
And
amazing.
so I made the decision. And I called Dr. Sebi back that night. And I said, I made my decision. And I said, it would be an honor to represent you and to be a student. And I had to make another hard call to the people in Germany who already bought the ticket. And I said, sorry, but I can't right now come to Germany. And that was hard for me because that was my dream. It's like to go Europe on a tour. And those people dream, you know? And I had to make that decision. And it was a great decision because right now, I got a text message from Buju Banton this morning. I have DJ Khalid on my product. These people would never engage me or write me or even give me their number. I have these people on WhatsApp. If I was pushing music and say, listen to my music. But because now I have something that they need,
something
not
valuable.
something valuable.
Yeah.
Now I can reach these people and say, let's do music together now.
Yeah.
But it's not just about that. It's about the platform, reaching God using different mediums.
You couldn't have known where that would have led.
Exactly.
You know?
But I realized
wisdom.
It was bigger than me. And it was like almost like the Paul moment. You remember the road of transfiguration?
Right.
He was persecuting Christian and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, like in this blink of an eye, he transformed. I was doing music. And I remember I was on a radio show like 3 years after I came back from Honduras and Mexico, because I went to Mexico as well. And I remember somebody, one of my fellow musician colleague, very well-known person, called me live on radio. Like, hold on. This is the same person that we record music, doing music with. The knowledge that you're speaking, how could you possibly have known that in that amount of time? I don't have the answer, to be honest with you. I would literally do an interview. I remember when I went to London and I went on an anthropologist podcast, a radio show, viewed to millions of people. And when I went on the show, he asked me a question. And they told me he's very rigid. Be careful how you answer him, because he'll destroy you if you don't speak facts.
Wow.
And he asked me a question. I just closed my eyes and I answered the question. And when I opened my eyes 10 minutes later, I don't remember what I said. But when I opened my eyes, everybody had tears in their eyes, including him. And the room was quiet for like 1 minute. And I remember him saying, wow, all my years in radio, no one has ever made me speechless. And I had to rewind the tape to hear what I said. And so sometimes I learn from myself. That's how you know that it's a higher being. I do believe that God intervened and he put his hand on you.
And
that's
you'll
why
find it in scripture.
That's why people would never be able, a lot of people try to duplicate what I do. A lot of people hate me for no reason. A lot of people, they become jealous. But I don't get caught up in that part. My part, I have my blinders on and I have a mission, I have a vision. I'm the visionaire. And so once I do what my purpose and I do what God put in my heart to do, if I'm truly inspired by God and motivated by God, guess what? When you walk in the room and you see my work, you will be able to determine the fruits that I bear, that these are authentic fruit that is divinely inspired. Or you'll be able to say, hey, this guy is not doing, he's not on the right path. You'll be able to tell beyond a shadow of a doubt. You know, the same way when Sir Lyndon Pinland walk into a room, you get goosebumps, or Dr. Miles Monroe, or any of the greats that we could think of, Nelson Mandela. It's not that they are self-perpetuating themselves. They are inspired by a higher power. God has his anointing on that person. Dr. Sebi was such a person, and he chose me as somebody that he chose. And he put me aside and he's like, you have something about you. But what he didn't know was that I had to go through those pain. You know, there was a guy who on his deathbed, he summons me. And he said, go on your knees. And he put his hand on my head and he said, Lord, from a dying man, bless this young man, bless his work, bless his hands. And he died like an hour after that. But Dr. Sebi couldn't have known that. You see? So I have come to the conclusion that what I'm involved in is bigger than me. I'm only a servant. I'm only a vessel, a messenger. I tell people, don't call me no healer because I don't make plans. When I go and I pick a plan, I have to say, hey, Lord, I hope that you didn't forget to put this active ingredient in this plant. And I know he don't forget. He's omnipotent, right? And so there's no way, he's all-knowing, there's no way he could forget. So how can I take the glory? How can, when somebody come to me and say, hey, I've been trying to have a child for 2 years, thankful to you, I can, no, it's not me. I'm listening.
Thank you
and
for answering the call.
And I've reconnected. Yeah, I'm reconnected to life, to the source of life. So Dr. Sebi was somebody that came into my life, and he like disrupt everything that because you know, sometimes as a little child, you say, I gonna be this when I grow up. It's almost like somebody give you a canvas that's blank, and you go to the shop, you buy the paint, you buy everything, right? And as soon as you dip the paintbrush in the canvas, as soon as you put the paint, a gust of wind come and blow, listen.
Okay.
It blow the canvas, and you see this image that was almost there. It's like, I didn't see that image, but the image was there, but you just couldn't see it. But the wind had to come to blow away the dust off the canvas, and you say, oh wow, look at that image. It was always there.
No,
So it ain't what you.
The canvas. It wasn't a clean canvas.
Yeah, it wasn't a clean. So in me, I'm saying, oh, music is gonna be this great thing that I'm gonna, and I'm all my life on. Because even till my prom in Cat Island, I was performing and I was writing songs and poetry, but I was bad on all subjects. But poetry, I would get A+. I was like, and that's why in life you shouldn't judge people based on their deficiencies. It's like you judging a fish because they can't climb the tree like the monkey, and you judging the monkey because he can't swim like the fish.
And that's how it's not necessarily a deficiency.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. In your eyes, you see? Yeah, we prejudge until we turn the light on.
So you were talking about how you reconnected and being live, right? So you often emphasize live foods for a live body. Can you break down what that means to somebody who may not be familiar with it?
So I think the most important thing is, I think God opened my spirit that we focus on staying connected. Because if you don't know what that connection is, then you could even take what they call live food or eating food alive, and you could be at fault. And let me tell you what I mean. If you give the polar bear live food in the form of plants, he'll die. And if you give the gorilla in the jungles live food in the form of the flubber from the seal, he'll die. So it's all based on the environment you are in. That dictates your food. That is why when the bird migrate, the bird doesn't take a suitcase with food. The purpose for migration is because the food is rationed. So unlike the bird, we neglect what's available to us. So what we'll do, we'll say, okay, let me go to the food store and get some live food. So we'll go and we'll purchase food that's imported. And I always say, if it's imported, it's not important.
I've never heard that. Neither have I. It's imported. It's not important. That's a very bold statement on an island that imports like 90% of its food.
We on the same page.
And I've asked you questions like that, remember?
Yes, we have this conversation all the time. She's like, I feel like I need to be living off of what's in the Bahamas where I live.
And let me tell you why I'm saying that. And it's not just a yes or no answer to your question. I'm not evading. So the bird is migrating to where the food is available. Not just the food that is grown, but also the circadian rhythm in that bird. You see, all of the food that we eat is jet lag, what I call jet lag food.
Can you explain for people who may not know the circadian rhythm when you're talking about?
So when we say circadian rhythm, we're talking about the rhythm of the body that vibrates with the rhythm of the earth. The quickest way to understand this is if you take off your shoes and your socks and you walk bare feet in the sand.
Grounding.
You're grounded. It's a feeling that you can't even describe. It's just, but it's no coincidence that they call that the soul of your feet, because it's also connected with the soul of the earth, the solar plex, the sun, soul, S-O-L, soul. So all of that is connected. And that is why when you wear shoes, it's rubber. So it shuts off and it degrounded you. You're not grounded anymore. That's very important because everything of substance, it have to go through the earth to come back up. If you take a bucket and you catch the water from the rain and drink that, it'll poison you. But if that same rainwater goes into the ground and comes back up as spring water, it will sustain life.
Water cycle, right?
Water cycle. The same thing with food. Everything, it has to go through the earth, including us as human beings. We have to eat that which is in the earth. So our rhythm, our vibration, it connects with our earth. That's why if you hop on a plane and you go 19 hours to UK, you get jet lag. Because the body is thinking it's 2 a.m., but it's 2 p.m. So the body is, and so the food that you bring from Germany here for me to eat is jet lag. So we're eating jet lag food.
Yeah.
So the nutrition is delayed because it's thinking it's
in a different place.
And that's why the bird doesn't bring the food in the suitcase. It goes where the food is. But the circadian rhythm also means, okay, let me break it down even further. So let's say we had Hurricane Dorian, came and it wiped out all the nitrogen of the soil, the magnesium, it wipes that out. But then you import food from another country that has the opposite, an oversaturation of a certain mineral that's been oversaturated here. You should be eating something that is deficient to build that up. But if you're eating something that is, you have too much off and you bring that in, it causes issue.
Imbalance.
Right. But you're importing that. You see what I'm saying? And that is why Jamaican, for instance, take up his family after all of their life living in Jamaica, relocate to UK where there's -6 degrees climate, right? Bring the oxtail, bring the curry goat, bring all of the tropical food, like the gorilla, to the sub-zero climate. Remember now, UK is not getting the ultraviolet rays, so it's a deficiency in vitamin D.
Yep.
And I know because I treat a lot of persons in UK right now with cancer. So now you are bringing food in another country that is tropical food in a climate that is sub-zero climate. And when in Roman, do as the
Romans do.
So when you should not be eating food from Jamaica. You should be eating food that grows indigenously in UK, like the strawberries, the olives, things like when you're in UK, eat the maple. I mean, in Canada, eat the maple. So you find food that the circadian rhythm, because even the density of the air, the trees in the Bahamas, it gives off a different density of oxygen, a different quality of oxygen mixed with the salt air. And it resonates with our body so that we can take that. Our circadian rhythm is in tune with that. So when you eat something imported from the blizzard in Germany that is grown in blizzard, it's a different type of energy, the oxygen to break that down. Now, when you move to Germany with your family and you say, I'm going to learn German language, but you're eating food imported from the Bahamas in all of this rich. Yeah, because remember now, you're breathing a different quality of oxygen. So the food compensates for that. You see?
It's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And it also go with season. So you're talking about geographically food. And what you're saying is God didn't know what he's doing. He gave you the wrong food to eat in the Bahamas.
Right.
So the food that is in. So when we talk about.
That's my thought process.
Yeah.
So when we talk about food alive, we should talk about seasonal food. That's the best. That's the safest way. Because when you're eating food in season, you don't have to question it because God grew it in June for a reason.
Yeah,
exactly.
Say, why you allow a juju plum to grow in June and not December, God? I have a gripe, I have a vibe with you, God. You allow cocoa plum to grow in June.
That's me and avocados.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was just like, we should not be eating this all year.
Yeah, but the technology say, oh, no, but I have a computer, man. We can make computer.
Get money.
Yeah,
GMO, hybrid.
We could make.
It's capitalized.
Exactly. We could make mango 365 days of the year. Yeah, man, we can make mango.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I have a selfish question there. One, for example, like we eat blueberries pretty much every day, right? I don't know if a lot of people, I don't know anybody that grows blueberries in the Bahamas. What would you say would be a replacement antioxidant?
I see mulberry. Yeah, I see a lot of people have mulberry. And I see like juju plum, guava, anything that have like color, like dark orange, dark purple, like a dark color.
Yeah, like the blues.
Yeah, it has what we call phytonutrients, carotenoids, flavonoids, bioflavonoids. That's just a fancy way of saying antioxidant, different form of antioxidant. But remember, don't never diminish what grows in your environment, as opposed to something fancy like blueberry that everybody's toting. That's powerful, but for the country it grows in.
Yes.
You see?
Right.
Now, we have some powerful stuff. We have guava. We have juju plum. We have gooseberry. Right? Which is, by the way, they call it Alma. ALMA. Look it up. Gooseberry is the best thing. I use it for persons with chemotherapy or that have leukemia or blood cancer or that has issues. And we use it to build their platelets. It's gooseberry. It grows wild around here. Your mom will know it when she had this. Because it's sour. We used to mix it with salt and black pepper.
That's weird, because I've never even heard of that.
Gooseberry is powerful at rebuilding platelets, blood platelets. You can even check this research on it. So when you eat things that's in season, like the cocoa plum, ooh.
I love cocoa plum. So what about freezing? Is that still, because they say they say it maintains the freshness, right? If you because we do that
jet lagged, even if it's frozen.
Okay, there you go.
So I love you out there. Because we have snow here.
No.
So why you want to make it make sense? Make it make sense. So it's just
but what if we grow like blueberries here?
I see people grow like mulberry, but it has a different resin. It's more tardy, more like it's more stronger, it's smaller. So there are things that grows here that I see people grow that indigenous. There are things that
aren't indigenous to the Bahamas.
That are some of our most of the stuff was brought here from Africa. We have some indigenous stuff here, but there are some stuff that the climate is not too much different than Africa climate.
Right.
So it can So you can get away with it, and it naturally has acclimated itself to this
environment. So that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
So if it's
if we were able to grow blueberries here, it's fine.
Yeah, and by the way, let me say this to y'all. I could be wrong, but in my research, I've yet to find any type of berry that is organic. I've not seen any organic berries.
What do you mean? Like, I mean, the package we buy, it says it's organic.
Says organic.
So you're saying when you test it, it doesn't?
It is no. I haven't seen any organic because remember now, you have to be careful. Unlike an apple, where they spray it and you put it in hot vinegar or wax and you see the water turning black. The berry, because the fruit is fleshy, it's soft flesh. When they spray that, it goes straight. It goes
through
straight.
it.
Yeah,
that's
so
why
you're eating.
It's like the dirty 15.
Not spraying it though.
That's what it's supposed to mean.
It's supposed to, but I haven't seen any.
Like blueberries is something they
even
say
the ones
that
that
if it doesn't say organic,
even the one that is still
if it doesn't say organic, you're definitely not supposed to buy it. But
even the
you
ones
don't even know if it's organic.
It's and somebody brought that to my attention. I was a lady from Canada. She came to me and she's like, "Why are you eating blueberry?" Because I used to like eating it. She said, "This is the most dangerous thing."
Wow.
Because they have organic. When she showed me, she said, "Look at this. This is not because by law they have to export it a certain way, so it need to be prepped." That word, prep.
Wow.
It need to be prepped for export.
And they don't show that in the ingredient.
No, and so when you eat, it doesn't grow here. So let's use our common sense because we sensible.
That was a big
people.
jab.
Yeah, it was like
we're taking a second.
But listen, you have some wonderful fruits that grows here. Y'all need to go on the island when it's time. Go get island, my island. Yeah,
your personal island.
But if you look at a lot of the fruits that grows natural in the Bahamas.
But how do you have enough of it? Like not harvesting, but actually collecting all of those where you're able to do it on a consistent basis. You're supposed to fly to the island.
No, I mean, you have farmers market. You have
we went to the farmers market.
Yeah, Sappadilly
We
and
go
stuff.
to the farmers market.
Yeah, you have. Trust me when I tell you, there's an abundance of things. We perish because of
lack of knowledge.
So we need to inoculate ourselves with knowledge so we can know.
That was something that we've been trying to do. We said we would now focus more on farmers market.
Let me give you some more knowledge.
Okay.
It's not just about eating these things. It's also about eating them the right way.
Yes.
Because you could eat the right thing the wrong way. Give me an example.
Well, I'll talk about how you eat certain types of food. You can tell me. I know it's a difference, like if you're eating fruits, carbs, and
no, I'm not talking about that part.
Not the. So what part are you talking about?
Fruits. Let's start.
Like
with
you
fruits.
don't eat fruits after a meal.
No, not even that. Because
you go.
Because the wild animal, right? The wild horse or goat, it doesn't go and say, "I wonder if I should eat this like this." You ever see a goat pick a blade of grass and say, I wonder this blade of grass my blood type?
No.
Okay, so
Don't watch goats. Oh, that's an assumption.
okay,
Or
birds.
are you talking about
but
fasting?
the birds, you never see a bird peel the skin off the mango and eat it. Or put it in a magic bullet and strain it and cheese block.
Oh, the whole
Oh,
fruit.
eat the entire thing. Oh, yes.
Because
we've heard that.
Because when you
I
eat
think
the,
he told us that.
yeah, when you
That
eat
was
the
a
mango,
while ago.
when you eat the mango, remember,
Yeah.
you eat the mango,
eat the
You're supposed to
skin.
eat
the skin, because the skin buffers the sugar. And
Oh,
if
the
you,
fiber is in the skin, yes.
Well, no, the fiber's in
No?
the fiber. It has the fiber, like the hairy mango.
Oh, the fiber's in the,
But that's also nature way of flossing your teeth, by the way, the hairy mango.
Or if they get stuck there.
Yeah, that's nature way of flossing your teeth. But
If they get stuck
yeah,
there.
but when you look at the mango, it's very sweet.
Yeah.
The fiber helps to give you bowel movement, but it also helps to absorb, what we call bioavailability. It makes it makes the nutrition more bioavailable.
Yeah, so
But
more,
this-
so your body's able to intake it better. Yeah.
And the skin, when you eat the skin, with those tannins and the antioxidant, it helps to protect your body from the sugar, the essential fatty acids, so you don't develop cancer and other stuff that cause from the sugar. So it balances it out. That's why the skin is bitter, the fruit is sweet, and the fiber is fibery. It's a complete balanced fruit. Now, when you take that fruit and put it in a blender, and you get a cheesecloth, and you strain it, and you drink the juice, you end up with cancer and diabetes. But you can't blame God because you have changed, manipulate that. You have done what you shouldn't have done. You manipulate that fruit. You see? Now, the reason why you're looking up in the sky is because, remember now, sugar. Okay, let me show you how dangerous sugar is. I saw somebody took some sugar, some white sugar from cane.
Table sugar.
And by the way, cane can label, so you shouldn't be eating cane. So,
These jokes.
so somebody, y'all is female, so y'all could tell me if I'm wrong. I saw somebody dump some sugar in a bowl, add water to it, then dump more sugar, and took a little thing and put it on the skin and shave their hair with it.
Oh,
I've
like
heard of
sugaring.
sugaring.
Sugar
Yeah,
wax.
it's waxing.
Wax.
Sugar. I was literally just talking about that yesterday.
So if sugar can do that to you on your inside, imagine when you...
I never thought of that.
Neither have I.
I know.
I mean, and that's the same not you think, but is that the same with non-refined sugar?
Yeah, because it's sugar. And what happens is the sugar is protected by the mechanism God put in place to make that a whole fruit.
Fruit, okay.
When you make it less than whole, it makes you less than whole. And you end up with diabetes, sugar spike. The skin, it protects you when you eat it whole. It protects the sugar content. So it's slowly absorbed in the system. And the nutrition is distributed. You have a proper waste evacuation. Peristalsis is promoted. And
Which is the bowel movement.
yeah, and so now the body receives that as a whole nutrition. You have bowel movement. You have maximum bioavailability of nutrition absorption. You have the body, the skin is resonated from the skin. The skin of that mango is building up the skin of your body.
I can't imagine
So what?
eating
Yeah.
that.
So what about like stilly or
Eat
like
the dilly skin too.
lychee? Lychee. You can't eat lychee skin.
Well, lychee is another subject. That's a hybrid.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the French made that. Like they made passion fruit.
What about tamarind?
Tamarind is good. And by the way, tamarind sends you to the bathroom too.
I know
can't
that for
eat
a fact, but you
skin,
can't
that
eat that
crunchy
skin.
No, but you could eat the middle part.
That like white thing with the line.
Yeah,
The line that.
yeah, but with the
that's
seed
based-
hooks.
Yeah,
you
it
could-
holds the seed.
yeah, you could-
Oh, I
you
don't
could
eat
eat-
that. You're supposed to eat
Wait,
that.
the
yeah.
line- what?
Yeah, so you have to like take the seeds out of the thing that
Oh,
holds
yeah.
them together
The
on the
line.
inside, that white thing.
And so what you're doing again is like the mango. You're taking off the
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like it's.
the papaya. You could eat the papaya seeds. That's the best part of it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
think
because
I've
it's good
heard of
for. We heard that it's good for parasites. Is that right?
That's right. Because
Yeah.
it pulls all of that stuff out of it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
papaya seed.
That's my favorite part of papaya, the seed.
To eat. Yeah, we need
Yeah.
to do. We have a collection of it. We never.
papaya. We don't even. Yeah.
We don't. I've heard of it. We don't eat the seeds because we can't find papaya. We have all those papaya trees on the outside, but they haven't.
Doing dengue fever, I had a gentleman came to my office and he was like, that's when we was up East Street, and he was like, hey, man, I just spent $700 on some prescription drugs for dengue and it didn't work. And I said, $700? I say, what to do is go home and boil some papaya leaf and drink it. The next morning, he come back and he's so mad because he spent $7. He can't get a refund.
Yeah.
And what's so like made him so angry was he have a papaya tree right on his porch. And he lifted on his yard and played with that. And the papaya tree looking at him like, you fool. You go in there, look at you. And I right here. All you have to do is open your door and do like this with your eye closed and grab a leaf. And the pain never came back. The papaya right on the porch.
Yeah.
He perished for
lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a lot of things like natural medicines like that, very simple, that people don't know?
I don't think
they
I
should
know.
So what would you say are like a
Shepherd
few of
needle.
those? Okay.
Shepherd needle is like a panacea. It's all around. It's prolific. And God made it prolific because if you get sick, you needed something at arm reach to just grab it and put it in your mouth to save you. Okay, let's look at spinach.
Or mention even purslane, which was very interesting.
Purslane is spinach. That's a family of spinach.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Look at it. It's a family like
It looks like weed.
Yeah, it is. But you have spinach that grows like weed in the Bahamas.
That's very true.
Yeah, like what?
It does grow like weed.
So how come when me and you pick our vegetation, whether it's spinach, dandelion greens, and we put it on our table, by evening it started to wither. But in the food store, it lasts for weeks and
a couple more days.
And even one will say organic. You don't believe me? Go get some kale at the food store and get some in your yard.
And see how long. That's a great test. I've never even thought of that.
The one in your yard will work.
Last.
Well, we didn't realize that was a
No, the
spinach.
one will biodegrade faster with your yard.
It doesn't even take the day. Like I noticed when we came from the farmer's market, by the time we got home, it was,
which one was that?
Like the plants were all like leaning over.
Yeah, but the one in the food store, even the organic one,
no,
it looked like it just get picked this morning. You see that? So we violate our body, and the body knows the difference, because when you put that kale from the food store on the table and the one in your yard, with your naked eyes, you may not be able to differentiate. But on a molecular structure, when you eat it,
cellular,
the body knows.
In your cells, the
body knows. Hey, that's not nice to try. Borrow some calcium from the bone, borrow some iron from the blood to make that whole.
Yeah.
And if you keep borrowing and don't put back,
that's what you issue with hormonal imbalances and all the different things that we have.
And then stress is a catalyst, because remember now, we live in unlike our great-grandparents on the island or whatever, who could have their rocking chair with their pipe, and they don't have to worry about their grandchildren or way to school. They have to worry about their children, what they say in town. People robbing them, and they don't have to worry about stuff like that. Today, all of us around this table could come up with at least 5 different stressful scenarios in our life. If it's not us directly, it's our sibling, our parent, or friend, a close friend,
right,
who going through some severe stress, right? So when you look at cortisol, the level of cortisol in any given behemoth,
the stress hormone,
and you look at the implications or the ramification that has on each individual, that alone within itself needs work. We need to find magnesium-rich food, food that has nervine and calmatives to help calm the body and relax the body.
We take magnesium daily, but through a supplement. Or I know it's not as good as.
Yeah, no, that's good. But the food like the blue vein,
never even heard of that.
It has like a rat, like a long rat tail, and it has these purple flower on it.
Local.
Yeah, it has these purple flower on it. They go in the yard. Your mom should know it. She'll know it. That's high in
my mom's real island.
yeah. It's called a blue vein. But you could eat the leaf raw. You could eat the flower. You could eat the entire plant.
Those were the blue things that
like were growing on the side. Like Grammy, Grammy knew what it was, but she didn't give us a name. But she said she saw it all the time growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
So what would you say? How does your daily food intake and the sources of your food? How does that look?
Well, even before I believe in intermittent fasting, I used to do it because of my schedule.
Yeah.
But I tried to incorporate intermittent fasting. Like, she loved the raw meat. I mean, you have to eat something. But I try not to eat before 12:30. And if I do, it'll be like some ginger tea. Right? Thanks for the ginger tea.
You're welcome.
Just the plug here. So some ginger tea, some sea moss tea in the morning. I try to eat like fruits, like natural papaya, like any fruit. I'm a fruit person. I love native fruits. I love dilly. I like sugar apple.
Yeah, so
anything I get my hand on, I just go crazy. I love native.
Do you believe in a fruitarian lifestyle?
I don't believe in a fruitarian. because nature doesn't, and I'm a nature person. If nature believed in fruitarian, finish it for me.
I don't know.
Then we would have fruit here. We wouldn't have any spinach growing. We wouldn't have no nuts growing. We will only have fruits 365 days. But because nature creates other things and other animals eat it, then how can I say that? We need medicine to cleanse your body. You need herbs. You need salads. You need chlorophyll in your body. You need magnesium. The body has 102 minerals, not just sugar. There's a lot of different things that the body needs, and nature provides those things for us. So kudos to those persons. But again, it's relative because my great-grand uncle was 107 when he died. My great-grandmother was 105. And a lot of these, they didn't go to the hospital and they didn't have checkups and they didn't do all that stuff. Just like the animal. The animal gets sick when we feed it. But when it feeds itself, it lives its natural course. Check it out. All the fishes dying is because we put junk and plastic in the sea and we contaminate the earth. It's always mankind. It's always us. We always was trying to play God and be macho and believe that we know everything. And so, you can't have mango, it grows once a year. Oh, no, yeah, okay. I give mangoes. Screw you. You see, if you see somebody eating mango in the winter, don't say, give me one or give me peace. Knock it out their hand.
Knock it out.
And say, so mango, if we go and we see someone eat mango, we say, why? Because mango is tropical fruit. It grows in the summer. And I can't wait for June. I can't wait for July.
Oh, we have lots of fruits.
But now, I take that back, because for me to say I can't wait is for me to say I'm not grateful
for what you have present.
What I have now. And what nature now is coming off the avocado, the oils, the nuts, and now we are more transition in the spring, which means now we're going to start having more greens like callaloo, mustard greens, dandelion greens. We're going to have, what's the other one? Spinach. Purslane, callaloo. All these greens now. Why? Because now the body need the cleanse. It need the purge. It need the rebuild.
Because I was like, all those sound like bitters.
Yeah. Now, what I was reaching for, though, if you move to Alaska, you can't be no vegan. You're gonna have to now switch your diet up. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so I can't say to you, living food is this. No. It's all based on your geographical location. That's what Dr. Sebi used to say. You have to eat what's there. And in Alaska, trees growing. It's just
That's interesting, because I thought he was just fully vegan.
No. The earth is something that is breathing, is living.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Because remember, the animals eat animals. The bear eat fish. And even the whale that eats plankton, it also eat tuna at a certain time. The elephant, it eat hay and stuff. But sometimes once a year, go into a cave, risk its life in the cave. And it take a tusk and it scrape the wall of the roof of the caves for the salt to get what is deficient. But he's connected. He's a circadian rhythm, his innate ability to understand that he's deficient in nutrition. The vegetation is insufficient. He need to find another source of nutrition to sustain his health. And it's because now our great-great-great-grandparents has died with the knowledge inside of them. Like Dr. Jamaal say the graveyard is the most.
Yes.
So we have, the greatest travesty is to let our ancestors die with the knowledge. Thank God Dr. Sebi died, but he passed a lot of stuff on. I mean, I not just Dr. Sebi, I grew up around a lot of old people. I would be like a sponge. I would listen. And that's what a lot of my knowledge, I would impart that. But I believe that the more you learn, the less you know. And so you're always on a quest. You stay humble. And you're always on a quest to learn more, to know more.
Do you think you can get allergies from just eating, like histamines rather, by just eating vegetables?
Yeah, because if you eat something that is man-made, allergies doesn't mean that something God made is making you sick. You get that? Allergy means that your body has reached a threshold of sensitivity that it can no longer sustain. It means that your body is so sensitive. But it's sensitive because there are some imbalance going on in the body. Not because the food that is natural is imbalanced. The food is in balance. We are in balance. And every year it's getting worse. Because when I was a child, when I go to school, nobody had allergies. Now, the teacher to have a whole list of stuff. Oh, these kids can't have all these stuff in school, a whole list of stuff. You never seen it growing up. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. And another thing too is during the I almost say pandemic, sorry.
Same thing.
Yeah. During the demic season, they had us sanitize our hand with antibacterial. Anti mean against.
Bacteria.
The body, against the body. So you go in this shop, you sanitize. You hop in your car, you sanitize. You go in another shop, you sanitize. You go in another store, you sanitize. And then you have to wear a mask now, so you're breathing substandard air. We then was breathing bad air, now it's worse now. So now we build up a bacterial resistance. So now when the pandemic has been so-called gone, the body don't know how to quantify all these different bacteria and how to process it, because now you have all of these antibacterial soap in your kitchen. You could use vinegar, avocado vinegar. You could use peroxide. You could use, there's many different natural solutions you can use to get rid of bacteria, as opposed to using antibacterial. So when your body needs it, there's not a resistance.
Yeah.
When I was younger, we used to shoot marble in the dirt. My body and barefoot, all dirty up. And we used to eat stuff for drop on the ground. We never wash it off. So we build up, we fortify our system. Now the kids, I see 11-year-old boys with pedicure.
Really?
I'm
not familiar with this.
They can't walk in they gotta wear slippers or Crocs.
Yeah.
And how you know our Crocs was? The dirt. The grounds are Crocs. But what we did was our system was fortified. I was on TikTok and I saw these Indian people cooking on the ground and they had their food in their foot in the food and literally say, boy, he put his foot in that food. He put his foot in that food.
Like making wine and stuff.
Yeah, not wine. I don't know. Cooking.
No, but I mean, it's a similar.
It's worse than that. Just me. This is not too hygienic, right? But when you go in the comment section, everybody said the same thing. Boy, their immune system must be strong.
Yeah.
Their immune system, because they're exposed to. That is why you see no Jones are wearing masks. You see no Jones are getting sick. You see no Jones are with cancer. The Jones are eating the garbage though. But his immune system, 100,000. That Jones don't get sick because he eating the garbage. His immune system so strong. You want a Jones to get sick? Give him some clean food.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Wow. So, okay. So in the Bahamas, what would you say are, I guess it's like a 2-part question. What would you say are the major diseases impacting Bahamians and the lifestyle according to geographics, obviously, here in the Bahamas, that you think is the best way forward if you're living in this area?
The best, though, in my interaction and experience, the number one cause of disease, and I'll say the number one cause of disease, because when people come to me and they follow their profile, client profile sheet, and they put I have hypertension, cancer, this, that, this, they live all this stuff. I scan it and I say, oh, this person only have one disease. And so the major cause of all disease, the major cause is stress.
Wow.
Stress. The body doesn't like to be in a state where it doesn't get closure. The body is, remember the movie Whitney Houston? Waiting to exhale. Oh, you have a disease that's autoimmune. So what you're telling me is I have something there's no cure for. There's no closure. And there's a lot of people with autoimmune disease in the Bahamas. Trust me. There's over 200 under that category. So, and then, come back in 3 months for the results. I could do biopsy. It could be cancer. We ain't sure. And then for a year, you keep doing testing. No closure. There was a research done in, I think, 2012 by a very prestigious university, and they found that 3 weeks of chronic stress leads to 3-centimeter tumor in the body. Whoa. So if you go and you have a cyst that's 3 centimeters, and they say come back in a month for the results. When you go back there, it'll be 3 centimeters no more.
It's going to be bigger.
It'll be 6 centimeters just from stress alone. What stress does is stress breaks down the digestive system. That's why if somebody calls you bad news, your stomach break down. Boy, you almost caused my stomach break down, but I don't do that no more. You see? Or I have this gut feeling. It's always the gut, because when there's danger, the body shuts down the digestive system. Why? Because the digestive system determines what enters your body. And if your digestive system is not working, you could lose weight. It can affect your thyroid, your endocrine system, your hormonal system, because your body is not getting. It's not about what you eat. It's about what's assimilated or what's absorbed, what's digested. So you can take magnesium supplement, iron supplement, but if the body doing like this,
complete waste of time.
the food poisoning you.
Yeah.
Not getting it.
You want the body to do like this.
Exactly. Not this.
And that's what's happening. A lot of people eating, they're belly full, but they're starving. They're eating the food.
Wow, I know.
But the
Belly
food,
full, but starving.
the body's not absorbing that which you're eating. So it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So you have to ensure that the food you're eating, that's why when some people come to me, we give them sublingual stuff, put under the tongue, and it goes straight into the bloodstream because that digestive system is so messed.
That's what sublingual is. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a horrible stomach flu going on now. A lot of people, my son had it. They've been vomiting and nothing is going on in the system. You see? So, but that's been happening in a subtle way for years. A stomach so-called flu. The body's not absorbing the food we eat. So we have to ensure that the food that we eat. Remember, we talk about methodology, not about what you eat. It's about how you prepare it. For instance, I'll be the first person to tell you olive oil is the best. Virgin oil. Olive oil is the best thing to eat.
Extra virgin olive oil.
But when you heat it up, it's poison. You see? So you may say, but you tell me eat olive oil. But you frying it and you heating it, so the molecular structure changes.
It's the same as baking.
Yes.
Yeah, high levels of heat.
It shouldn't go above 220 degrees.
It's like coconut oil has a higher smoke.
Well, you
point,
should
right?
those oil you shouldn't put in frying pan at all. You're supposed to sprinkle them cold over stuff, and you use them cold. You're never supposed to heat up your oil.
Any oil.
Heat is dangerous.
What about oils in breads?
Yeah, that's. You could use a little sparingly, like the virgin olive oil. You could use it, but let me get you all to understand how dangerous heat is. If you take an egg and put that egg in hot water for 30 minutes, the heat is going to change the egg from liquid to solid. Even after the egg cool, the room temperature, it's not going to go back to liquid. The frying pan will have viscosity when you put the olive oil in it. It'll be liquid. When you heat that and fry the fish, the Bahamas, the frying pan got to be smoking. Because it take a stick. So you put flour on it, that's even worse. We dip the fish in flour. So when you fry the fish, you turn off the frying pan, the oil turns to gel. And you look behind your stove, you see that thick grease behind the stove, that's what's in your body. So when you add heat to your oil, you're changing, like the heat with the egg, you're changing the molecular structure of that oil. Because the oil is supposed to protect you. The oil is good, olive oil is good. Olive oil has vitamin E. And vitamin E is one of the most potent antioxidant on earth. But when you strip away the vitamin E through a heating process and you eat that, there's something called essential fatty acid that is in that oil. And essential fatty acid, when it's taken without an antioxidant, it causes oxidation, which causes free radical. And free radical is an incomplete molecule in the body that causes cancer. It causes what we call apoptosis, which is cell death, and it promotes homocysteine and prevents methylation, which is healthy cell growth in the body.
Methylation.
Right? So what we try to do is we try to tell people olive oil is great, but you have to sprinkle it over the food after it's done. Like if you're eating salmon naturally have its oil in it. So you don't have to use olive oil to fry salmon now. You could boil the fish and the fish would be done. The meat would still be white. It wouldn't be look like charcoal. In the Bahamas, you have this saying that says, I like my fish fried dry.
Yeah. Right.
In other words, we like the charcoal. We like to fry the protein and the nutrition. No, that's what we have to do. So we perish for
lack of knowledge.
So when somebody have a disease, it's not because God loved that person less than he loved the person without the disease. It's because that person is self-inflicted. And oftentimes you may have the same family eating at the same pot, but only one person gets a certain disease. That can be because of genetic predisposition, and this gene may be more dominant and it may be triggered by this. And also that person may be experiencing more stress, because some people, based on their sign, I don't know if y'all believe in astrology, but you have some people that, like me, I'm a Pisces, right? So you have more persons who are empathetic, who hold on to stuff. Like something will happen to let's say something happened to your cousin, and everybody in the family forget about it. But he's already thinking, oh my God, you worry, but more than everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody forget about it.
Yeah.
But you sleep and you think about that.
Yeah,
And
I'm learning though.
Yeah,
I'm learning.
Yeah, yes, me too. So
I'm getting better.
And so we need like that balance, that other person there, to shake you out and
She
say,
has the balance.
yeah, to shake you out of that, to say, hey, hold on,
Yeah.
catch yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing I'm gonna leave is this: when you in your adolescent, teen, and you come into a young adult, the body readily gives to you. It forgives you. It's very forgiving. You could go partying, drinking, and the body helps you recover. You back on your feet again.
Right.
But when you get a certain age, like mid-30s, you now have to start giving back to your body. And the way to do that, eat clean, eat wholesome, do yoga, do stress management techniques, programs, laugh until your chest hurts.
Breathing.
You have to create a proverbial pleasure mind. I keep saying that. You have to give your body pleasure. The body needs pleasure as much as it needs pain. We tend to focus more on the pain. And so if you have a cruise, we cancel the cruise to go to a funeral.
Yes.
Well, I know that person so much.
Yeah.
Wow. So we need to create that proverbial pleasure bank and add to that.
So important.
Stop withdrawing. Start depositing into that bank. Most importantly, you have to exercise. Not just walking. You have to do strength. You do weights and you have to do cardio. You have to do weights. Weights, it's amazing what weights does. You have to do it.
She's laughing because we were just gonna say we're gonna spend the money and get because we've been trying different things to like consistently work out, and we're just like we have to get like a home gym. Yeah. So we could be consistent because it's really important.
But all fair, I told you something I get that is really cool.
Oh, okay.
All fair, I don't promote that.
Okay. But that's so funny. Everything you said, and that's like literally the reason for this podcast. We were reading this book, and they were talking about going to the spa and sauna treatments, etc. All these things that we look at as luxuries that God created as pleasure for us to keep our bodies healthy. And that's where soaking up the sun is thinking about God, our faith, S-O-N, and soaking up the sun, enjoying life. Right. So it's so interesting you say
it's
pleasure.
meant to be that way.
It's literally meant to be that way.
It's amazing. And you see, money is easier to get than people think, because Solomon, the wisest man, he didn't ask for wealth. God asked him what he wanted.
Wisdom.
Knowledge and understanding. You could have $1 million and be a fool and lose it. But you could be broke and have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And you can devise a business plan that can make you millions and millions of dollars. Dr. Mahaz told a story about 2 college students that went to India. And they saw millions of people bare feet with no shoes. And one of the guys like, oh, these people poor, eh? Wow, these people, oh my God. Like, he pitied the people. And he's like, wow, these poor people walk around with no shoes. The other one saw a business opportunity. He dropped out of college. And he got some tires, because they had a bunch of those rubber tires. And he cut out some tires. What cost him must be $1 to make. And he sold the shoes for $1. And he became a millionaire.
Of course.
So one saw pity, and one saw the bad part, and one saw opportunity. But he had the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding how to create the opportunity. And so it's not as hard as we think. So all this thing we're stressing about, it's just a matter of us taking but see, when you sick and your cortisol level is high, you're neurotic, you have mood swing, you're moody, you're always vexed, you're always, because you're sick. A sick person is always moody, and they're always like neurotic, and they're always agitated. But when somebody has enough chlorophyll, enough magnesium, and serotonin and melatonin and endorphins, guess what? You're the calmest person. Chaos will be, the sky will be falling around you, and you'll be smiling, Yeah, you smoke a joint, you know? You'll just be relaxed because you are complete. And there's nothing around you is incomplete, but you are completed. And so there's no need to panic. Yeah.
Peace, yes.
Yeah.
Faith.
Yeah, and that's what cortisol. So high stress hormones, it causes you to be like where you can't sleep because the mind, it keep going. It keep firing off. But it has a physiological impact, and it impacts the body on that level. And that is why when a pilot, a police officer, a firefighter, a stewardess in training, one thing they tell them, don't panic. And when the plane crashing, when the car exploding, don't panic. He did an experiment when the car was under the water. He said a lot of people say you can't open the car under the water. He said that ain't true. He demonstrated how the car under water, politely screw the glass down or whatever, or just open the door. Up, and the doors just open. But because people be like
panicking.
No, but panic causes you, it clouds you.
Yeah,
and you drown because your mind, you just panicking. You just calm down. And so they teach. That's why if you listen to the voice recorder before a plane crash, you say, how can you be so calm? Be like, hey man, we coming in. I think the plane's gonna crash. I think it looks like we're not gonna make it to the runway. That and everyone about to die, including him. And he's so calm. You see? I said, how could he do that? Yeah, they train for that. Even if you go to police and you got pulled over and police in the state, they be like, hey man, how you doing today, sir? I said, I'm good. They said, man, I'm just step at the car. We're gonna search your car, okay? You have any drugs in here? Even the U.S. Customs officer, when they searching your bag, he said, hey man, I found this stuff. You wanna go to jail today, okay? Do me a favor, sir. Just put your hand behind your back and put your hand off on you. He said, watch your head, sir. Like they told you so calm and so polite, like like Roosevelt Theodore. What do you say? Speak softly and get a big stick. So you say things, but the word is so powerful, but you say it in such a good way. You don't have to like, I don't count bad, and, no.
Keep your stress level down.
I could whisper something to you and you'd be crying when you leave.
Yeah, for sure. No. I that's one of the things I experienced when I went away. I realized that I had to learn how to say what I needed to say softly in a very calm manner.
Killing me softly. Killing me softly.
Roberta, she just passed away. I think Mommy said she passed away. Oh, really? Roberta Flack. Is that Roberta Flack, right?
Yeah, and Lauren Hill did the thing,
Yeah, Lauren Hill did the version.
So life is for living. I think the 6 doctors, sunshine, see a doctor every day, sunshine. That's the doctor. Fresh air, fresh water, sun-rich electrical food, right? And once you get these things, and of course, fresh water, these are the things that the body needs to function.
And to prevent disease.
And prevent disease, yeah. I remember disease start here mentally. When you believe what the doctors say to you, or when you believe something negative, you're twice defeated. Because the body is only waiting to see how you take it in so that it can respond to what you take in. So if you take in something negative and you tell your body, okay, it is what they say it is. The body's okay. Well, I'm gonna die in 2 months. Okay, 2 months, we're gonna shut your body down. But if somebody says, oh, you have 2 months to live, and you laugh at them like, the body's like, oh, that person's joking. And I've seen it. I've seen persons came to me who were given less than a year to live, and it's 15 years later, they're still alive. I've seen it. Stage 4 cancer.
So important.
I had a lady, the doctor told her she would never conceive, never have a child in this lifetime. She have 2 children now.
Wow.
And the same doctor told her that. Eat those words. And say, how did you do it?
Even the case with your wife.
Exactly. She had fibroids and stuff, and she passed it on. She had lupus. So against all odds.
Against all odds.
Against all odds.
Awesome.
The body's resilient.
Awesome. And I think that would have been your last note.
Yes, for sure.
To the viewers and the audience.
Yes. Yeah. Jamal, if you have any ways for people to get resources, do you want to tell the audience how they can connect with you? We'll write it in the show notes as well. But so
my Instagram, TikTok handle is Dr. Jamal Moncur. And that's for all of my handles.
Okay.
And the store number is 377. Well, 1242 because it's international. 1242 377 5034. And our WhatsApp is 1242-465-9245.
Okay.
And that's our WhatsApp to get us on WhatsApp. And check out some content, some testimonials, and be edified.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
stuff.
Jamal.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
An
Thanks for
awesome
having me.
conversation.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Like we said, we'll have Dr. Jamal's contact there as well. Tell us anything you liked about the conversation, anything you'd like to see in the next episode. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much, and see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.